Hello, everybody. Jeremy Senpai here. And after taking a bit of a break from my analysis podcast thing, I decided to come back to it. And well, to kind of get me back in the talkative mood, I decided to start off with Hey Arnold yet again, because Hey Arnold is definitely a bit easier for me to dissect and talk about. I definitely have a lot of things I do want to talk about at some point. A lot of what ifs and just me rambling. So if that's what you subscribe for, then you're in the right place. If not, there's nothing wrong with that too. I still have my gameplays, I still have my audios, etc., etc. Anyway, the episode of Hey Arnold that I want to talk about today is the episode Weighing Harold. Okay, for those of you unfamiliar with the series, Harold Berman, who's kind of a bully, kind of a friend of Arnold, this episode centers around him, and it could even be seen. It can relate to anyone who does struggle with some form of body dysmorphia or even feeling insecure about your own perceived image. Self image, I mean. But I'm just gonna start from the beginning. Alright. The episode begins with Harold eating a whole mess of chocolate ice cream bars. He is able to eat all of them, and because it was a bet from Stinky, Sid, and some other kids, he's able to collect the money from it. However, once he collects, the ice cream man, the Jolly Ollie man, starts laughing at Harold, saying that he wished they had 100 customers just like him, calling him Tubby, and saying that if he had that many customers, he could retire to Florida. And then he leaves, driving away, laughing at Harold's displeasure at that. And think about it, this is a grown adult laughing at a kid for being a bit overweight. And then Harold turns the corner where he hears Stinky and Sid talking, calling Harold an idiot because it did cost him more to actually buy the ice cream bars instead of what he would have won for completing the bet. And then they start saying things about how he's going to weigh 300 pounds in a couple of years. And this does start to shake Harold's confidence just a bit. And as he's walking home, it just keeps hitting him more and more. For example, there's a little kid who points and tells his mommy to look at the fat man. However, his mom corrects him by saying that Harold is a fat boy, which only makes him feel a bit worse. Then we cut to dinner at Harold's house with his parents, and we do see all the everything that happened from today is starting to weigh very heavily on him until finally he comes out and says, asking if he is fat. His mother tries to reassure him, saying that he's just a bit heavy, no different than she is, while his father just outright says that he could stand to lose a couple of pounds, which, yeah, is a bit of a bad thing for him to say, but at the same time he's saying it as a parent, so it can come from a realm of genuine concern, especially if Harold might develop diabetes or high cholesterol at a young age, which any parent would, especially if their kid is a bit heavy set. Okay, then we skip to later that night where Harold is binge eating an entire box of donuts while watching TV. This could be seen as some form of stress eating or comfort eating. The fact that Harold does need to eat something that he likes in order to feel better about himself. Let's be honest, we've all been there. There are just days where you just want to enjoy what you like without worrying about the consequences. And then, very conveniently, on the TV is a commercial for a cruise ship with a weight loss program. Now promising that only in 5 weeks' time, now Harold can lose his excess weight. So he decides to call in and save his spot on the cruise. Alright, then we skip right to Harold boarding the ship, where his parents, Arnold, Sid, and Stinky, are all there to see him off, promising that the next time they see him, he's gonna be skinny. We skip 5 weeks to where the cruise ship comes back, and we see that Harold, after getting off the ship, is a bit more heavy set. And Arnold tries to tell Sin Stinky to be a bit cautious, but they just rip the band-aid right off, saying how Harold looks as big as a house right away. And Arnold is kind of the one who has to deliver the hard truth that Harold, instead of losing weight, put on more weight. And later that night, when Harold is having dinner with his parents yet again, they are trying to reclaim some sense of normalcy, the fact that Harold is home and that they're all together again, but all Harold can see is his insecurities. All he can see is himself as this big, heavy freak, as he calls himself. And then we see a bit later where Sid and Stinky are telling all of their friends about how heavy Harold's gotten. Harold comes down the corner to get an ice cream from the Jolly Ollie Man. The Jolly Ollie Man, being the dickhead that he is basically calling Harold even fatter. That Harold, feeling even more insecure and even more ashamed of himself, decides to order 12 low-fat chocolate bars, even though, as Arnold points out, having 12 of them will just be the same thing as having 6. And Harold may realize this, but he just doesn't want to hear it. He just wants to comfort eat again because he is ashamed and embarrassed of himself. He has his chocolate bars in hand and just runs away, telling Arnold to leave him alone. And entire days pass after this. Nobody's seen Harold. Sid and Stinky are walking by. Arnold overhears them saying how Harold is probably so fat he can't get out of his house. So Arnold decides to pay Harold a visit because Arnold is a real friend to him and shows genuine concern. And when he's inside Harold's room, Arnold tries to tell him that he can lose weight and lose it in the right way. Harold, understandably, is very self-conscious about this, thinking that people are going to laugh and make fun of him. But Arnold promises to be his trainer and even tells him that they can work out at night so that way nobody will make fun of him. And after a few days of Harold working out and struggling, he finally breaks down with all of his frustration, telling Arnold that he just can't do it. Arnold tries to convince him yet again not to give up, but Harold, very understandably, very embarrassed, very hurt and ashamed, tells Arnold about everything that led up to this. How the Jolly Ollie Man makes fun of him, how Sid and Stinky think that he's fat. He basically tells Arnold all of the insecurities that have been piling up. But then Arnold actually asks Harold a very fair question. Did you think that you were fat? Arnold asks Harold if Harold was comfortable with the way he was before he gained all the weight. And Harold tells him that he was happy. Yes, Harold was a bit overweight, a bit heavy, but at the same time, he didn't let it bother him. He didn't think about it, not until everyone started pointing it out to him. So Arnold tells him, there you go. Instead of trying to get skinny, he just needs to go back to his original weight. And after hearing that, Harold is a bit excited, saying how it could be fun. Because instead of going for some idealized version of himself that he may or may not ever go for, he can instead go back to the way he was beforehand, where he was happier and more confident in himself. And now we have a montage of Arnold helping Harold work out again, except Harold is excelling much further than he was before. He is making great strides and is shown to even be enjoying himself, even if it is bitter work. Now we skip ahead to the big unveiling. All of Arnold and Harold's friends are waiting outside Arnold's house. Harold is still a bit self-conscious, wondering what he's going to look like to everybody else. However, Arnold still tells him to go for it, at least saying that he'll be with him through it. The door opens, and Harold is back to the way he was before, and everybody is impressed with him. They even admire him a bit more because he managed to get back to the way he was before he gained all the weight. Harold steps forward, more confident in himself and more sure of himself. And then the Jolly Ollie man comes by, and Sid and Stinky make another bet with Harold that he can eat a whole bunch of chocolate bars just like before. And Harold very confidently says that they're on. Okay, there's definitely a bit to dissect from this episode. First of all, it's how you perceive yourself, especially with your self-image. Harold, yes, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Harold is a heavy-set boy, despite being only 13 years old. But at the same time, he never perceived himself in that way. He never saw himself in that kind of negative light before. Instead, he was perfectly happy as he was. It wasn't until people started making fun of him and pointing it out to him that he started to become very self-conscious. And let's be honest, we've all been there. Even I, as an adult, I still struggle with that sort of thing. I mean, I work out probably 3 to 4 hours, 6 days a week because of my training and because I enjoy it. But at the same time, I do like the satisfaction of completing a workout. No, I'm not saying that one day I'm going to be built like Thor or built like Captain America or Henry Cavill or The Rock. And that's not exactly what I want. Yes, I wouldn't mind it if I was built like an action figure, but at the same time, that's not really what I want. I do it because I enjoy it. And there are definitely times where I do feel a bit self-conscious with my body. And I mean, that's just called being human. Everyone does feel that way. But at the same time, I'm not exactly in a bad place either. I mean, I can run like 3.1 miles a day, and I'm happy with that. I can lift up to 60, 70 pounds on a deadlift, so I'm happy with that as well. So, it's not always about fashion over function. What really matters is if you're comfortable with yourself in your own skin. How you perceive yourself as. If you perceive yourself as overweight or underweight, it really shouldn't matter what other people say. Yes, I'm not the best example of this, and like anyone else, I'm a work in progress. I'm working on myself, just like any of you are. And that's basically it. No, you'll probably never have that action figure body or that supermodel body, and nor should you, because what matters is what makes you comfortable with who you are, and no one else has the right to tell you that or make you feel insecure about that. You are just fine the way you are. Now, you can improve yourself, but make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons. Yes, you can work out, you can get in shape, you can do whatever it takes to make yourself more comfortable, but at the same time, don't do it for the wrong reasons. Don't do it to give in to pressure or that somebody is telling you that you're overweight or that you're too skinny. Do it simply because that's what you want to do. I mean, I do the best I can with what I've got to work with, and there's definitely a lot there. But overall, be happy with who you are. You're not flawless, you're a work in progress. Be happy and look how far you've come, because I promise you, you probably have more potential than you can see in yourself. So, that's basically my analysis of weighing Harold from Hey Arnold. I do hope that you guys enjoyed this. I've been meaning to get back into the whole analysis podcast thing, so I hope that you guys enjoyed this. There's definitely a lot more coming up. So, anyway, this is Jeremy Senpai signing off. I hope that you all enjoy your day, and until next time, see ya!